More details emerging on the two planes that collided over Lake Coeur d'Alene last Sunday. Tonight, we hear from family members of one of the victims.
It's imperative the students return to their classrooms and interact directly with their teachers and classmates at the end of the summer.
Idaho is hoping to send students back to school this fall, so we answer your most asked questions on what returning to classes could look like.
Tracking a few showers this evening, but much warmer and sunnier weather in your forecast next.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm Whitney Ward.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Let's get straight to some breaking news right now. A salvage barge is working right now to pull wreckage out of Lake Coeur d'Alene from Sunday's deadly plane crash that left 8 people dead. Our Taylor Vito is live from the lake right now. And Taylor, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Mark, and in that wreckage, the final victim, again, 8 people perished in this plane collision. The final victim still in one of the planes there. I'll have my photographer Jeff right now zoom in and show you what we're looking at. We're at the boat launch at Black Rock Bay, and just within the last couple hours or so, these barges have made their way out here onto the lake with, as you're able to see, one large crane there. That crane going to be responsible for going down to the lake bottom and recovering the planes, the wreckage, and all that sort of thing. We've also seen some authorities out here on the water, along with a fireboat that's been setting up a boom. We can only presume with that to prevent any spills or anything like that, or contain any kind of pollution. Now, as we've reported, crews have so far recovered 7 of the 8 victims involved in the crash. The final victim is trapped in the wreckage of a Cessna airplane that's in the water as we speak. So now the goal for crews is to meticulously remove that plane. And as we've been reporting this evening, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office says that these crews expect to be on the water just for a couple days. They're hoping to wrap up this recovery effort by this weekend. As we've reported, the 2 planes are about 100 yards apart, but in terms of all the wreckage, there's about a 500-foot radius of different pieces of plane all along the floor of Lake Coeur d'Alene. Now, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office says that the NTSB has told them that they're hoping to recover about 80% of the wreckage. They won't be able to get everything, and of course that and the timeline of how long this will take is going to depend on weather, other factors as well. As we continue to show you this area, at least it appears from our vantage point here, the water on Lake Coeur d'Alene kind of calm right now, and certainly we can assume authorities want it to stay that way. Earlier, the Sheriff's Office was telling us that they are urging boaters to stay out of this way. They're not trying to have people come up and get a look or anything like that, because the work these crews are doing is certainly very important. So again, as many of you certainly know, this plane crash happened on Sunday. Since then, the remains of the 2 planes have been on the bottom of the lake, and for several days this week, authorities have been working to recover those victims. Just this morning, we learned that they had recovered 7 of the 8 victims, and now they're working to bring out the final victim who is trapped in that plane wreckage. Mark, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Taylor Vito live at Lake Coeur d'Alene tonight. Taylor, thank you very much. In other news, as Washington businesses navigate the governor's new mask mandate, a lot of you are telling us what you're seeing. One viewer reached out to us with concerns that travelers and workers at Spokane International Airport weren't wearing masks. And before we dive into that story, we want to know, do you feel safe flying during the pandemic? So get out your phones and get ready to vote, or weigh in right now on KREM.com/vote. In the meantime, KREM 2's Ian Smay is live in the newsroom tonight with more about the claim about the masks at the airport and what airport officials are saying about that. Ian?
Governor Inslee's latest mask mandate has been in effect since Tuesday, and we've been answering your questions about the guidelines. There are some places where these guidelines are not being followed. One concerned traveler reached out saying the Spokane International Port is one of those places, so we decided to see for ourselves.
Viewer sent us an email saying she was concerned that federal buildings and workers, like TSA agents, air traffic controllers, and those traveling through airports, don't have to follow state-level mandates to wear face masks. So, we sent a crew to the Spokane International Airport today to see if travelers and workers alike were wearing face masks. They spent a little over an hour there in the early afternoon, getting video outside of the airport, in the baggage claim area, and at the check-in desks. It looked like most people did wear a mask, but there were about a handful who did not cover their face. Now, this could be in part thanks to measures the airport says it has put in place to help people comply. In a statement to KREM, the airport said there are signs reminding people about the mask mandate, as well as frequent announcements over its PA system. Also, airport staff patrol the terminals offering face masks to passengers who aren't wearing one. In addition to these steps, the airport said it's working with its airlines and businesses to ensure policies are being followed. While many are likely wearing a face mask to comply with rules handed down by the governor, there are some who have more personal reasons to wear a mask. Bailey Pennington, who was traveling through Spokane from all the way down in George West, Texas, says his views on wearing a face mask have changed because of a personal connection.
If you'd asked me a couple months ago, I definitely would have said no to the mask, but I've recently been exposed to someone and saw them really suffer from COVID, and now I'm all about it. I think we've got to try to do everything that we can in order to help this problem out.
Many airlines, including Alaska Airlines, have already been requiring employees and travelers to wear masks unless they have a medical exemption.
We also received a statement from Governor Jay Inslee's office saying that federal employees have to follow the rule unless a federal law preempts them. But the governor's office says this hasn't been an issue so far, saying in part, "We are pleased to see that a number of federal agencies have recognized the importance of wearing face coverings, and we hope to partner with all federal agencies in our state to implement this public health measure and protect all Washingtonians they employ and serve." In the newsroom, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
All right, Ian, thank you very much. And at the start of the story, we asked you, do you feel safe flying during the pandemic? Right now, 74% saying no, 26% saying yes. So thank you for weighing in on our online poll. All right, Whitney, Spokane police canine handlers trying to convince city council not to make changes to the way police dogs are used in Spokane.
Yeah, so Spokane City Council members in general have proposed multiple different changes as part of a greater effort at police reform, and this is all on the heels of the George Floyd protests. And so again, that they have proposed many different changes, and one of those changes has been to potentially tighten up restrictions on when and how canines could be released on suspects. Now, some city council members say they're concerned about potential harm or liability. Right now, the dogs can be used to try and find a suspect who might be hiding from officers or to catch someone who might be running away from police. And of course, in both of those instances, officers say the dogs are a critical tool to catch potentially dangerous suspects. They had a presentation today that was meant to show council members how useful these dogs can be. Actually, though, only one council member actually showed up, and here's what he told us today.
I've gotten a lot of really good feedback directly from officers who've been on the ground protecting our community, who, do this day in and out. And so that's been really informative and helpful for me in trying to make some decisions on some of these issues. And some of these issues are pretty broad ranging. And I really just don't think we should be acting so quickly on emotion, and we should be more thoughtful and data driven in the decisions that we make.
I'm passionate about what we do. These guys are passionate about what they do because it saves lives. And so I can't comprehend getting rid of it. I just can't see the reasoning behind that. And I want the ability to educate as much as possible that these are a invaluable tool.
Now, Spokane City Council members haven't made any final decisions yet, and they haven't voted on any changes. Of course, we'll keep tracking those developments for you and bring you those updates as they do become available. As we switch gears to continue our coverage on coronavirus, we want to track the latest numbers. We begin in North Idaho, which actually saw its largest single-day spike today in new cases. So Panhandle Health reporting 97 new cases in the last 24 hours. And look at that, more than 74% of the coronavirus cases in North Idaho have actually been found in people under the age of 50. Governor Brad Little announced today the state of Idaho will be staying in phase 4 of reopening until the number of cases starts to go down. In Spokane County, the Spokane Regional Health District reporting now almost 2,000 cases total, another 53 cases in the last 24 hours. The county health officer says that we have a positivity rate, or we should have a positivity rate of about 2% if we wanted to reopen. Right now, though, the county is sitting at about 8% of people who are being tested are coming back positive. All right, another lovely evening here in the inland Northwest. Not overly sunny today, but very comfortable outside, and that's perfect grilling weather because our favorite grill master, Tom Sherry, is out there right now kind of cooking an unconventional recipe for tonight. Right, Tom?
That's exactly right. Unconventional. Who does meatballs on the barbecue? This guy does right here. We're going to throw these on in just a little bit, but here are the meatballs. And the recipe, by the way, is on KREM.com. They're a mixture of pork and beef. and then we're just going to throw them on one of these beautiful Franz outdoor rolls. I'm heating up some marinara sauce as well. We'll put the marinara sauce over the cooked meatballs, then we'll top it off with a little Parmesan cheese and some chives out of the garden. So a little fresh product for you right there. So should be good. And again, it kind of breaks up the whole thing about hamburgers and hot dogs. I think this is great for camping. So keep that in mind if you're going to be heading out and camping. You'll have the cool campsite. We're over here now on the blue screen where we show you the satellite and radar picture. Rain showers are occurring to the west of us, and as I look to the sky here on the South Hill, my gosh, it is beginning to darken up. So we're seeing, again, I expect some of that rain possibly to move into the Spokane area. We're certainly seeing these showers across areas of northeastern Washington and into areas of central Washington. So 76 degrees right now under mostly cloudy skies. You can see that the wind is out of the west now at about 15 miles per hour. Beautiful over in Lake Coeur d'Alene, though. 55 will be the overnight low with decreasing clouds, decreasing chance of showers. Sunshine returns on your Friday and a daytime high of 80. I'm always looking ahead to the weekend, folks. That I can promise you. We'll look for 88 on Sunday, one of the warmest days of the season so far. And then a cool front moves in on Sunday. We'll drop our temperatures all the way down to 76. It's going to be breezy and a slight chance of rain. I'll check your all-important 10-day forecast as well as your barbecue forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Looking forward to both of those things. Tom, thank you very much. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. All right, happening right now for the first time, Governor Jay Inslee is hosting a task force on independent investigations of police use of force. Two of the members on that task force are actually from right here in Spokane, so let's take a listen in right now.
Just an overview. We know that everyone would rather be person to person, but COVID-19 put a stop to that. So we're going to use this technology as best we can. We'll be calling on everyone individually to give people a chance to talk in their introductions. And each of you, we want to know who you are. You'll have 10 seconds from the time that, well, you'll have a minute to speak and then 10 seconds that warning that'll tell you your time is almost up, and then after that you will be muted. Now I know that can be awkward. I get that. But we want, as we said, we want every person to be heard. So, and you will have time to talk more about why you're here a little bit later on our agenda. So this will just be your introduction. So Leah, are we pretty clear on, is everyone clear on the hand raising and the chat function? Does anyone have a question about that?
I think so. I can just go over it again really quickly. For those of you on a desktop or on a laptop who actually have the Microsoft Teams app open, if you hover over the icons on your screen, there's a little control panel that will pop up for you, and that's where your mute button is, your camera.
All right, so we are listening in right now to a live task force meeting happening right now. It's headed by the governor. It's on independent investigations of police use of force. Things just getting underway in that meeting. As they, get underway more, we'll dip back into that to take a listen in. But in the meantime, we'll move on.